Hello everyone, I hope you're all doing well. Today we are back with another interesting video, which is different. It's not a transit video. It's going to be a new research which Dr. Aditya and Dr. Santhip has brought in, which is related to houses, related to your family members, and remedies around that. So I'll welcome both of them. Hello.
Hello, Navji. How are you doing? Good?
Good. How are you doing, Aditya?
Doing good. Hello, Sandeep. How are you?
Good, Aditya. Thank you.
Hi.
Yeah, pleasure to meet you all after a long time. I guess it feels like it has been ages. We have not met, I guess, of course. I think most of the time we only meet on videos nowadays. It has been crazy.
Yeah.
Crazy schedule.
Feels like lifetimes now, like with the time, the world and all that, right? Like a lifetime going on.
But yeah, so I welcome everyone, and let's welcome our participants too, and maybe who are listening to our online videos. I hope my voice is clear, correct?
Yeah, it's good. Yeah.
Okay, so we know in astrology, the chart, we have 12 houses. Now, each of these 12 houses are connected with each family members. For example, the first house we know is connected to yourself, your own self. The second house is connected to your family members, your immediate family members, family. Third house is connected to your siblings. The fourth house, I'm just considering only the Jeeva Karakas of these houses, the life beings connected to each houses in the chart. So the fourth house, we know it's connected to mother. The fifth house, can anyone say what is the fifth house for? The fifth house is
children.
Yeah.
Children. Jeeva Karaka, if you say it's children. The sixth house, what is sixth house for?
Usually mothers, younger brothers, siblings, maternal relatives.
Correct. Maternal relatives, mama, which we call maternal uncle, maternal auntie, maternal relatives. And also, I will say sixth house is also for your competitors, to whom you compete with. It may be in workplace, it may be in school life or college life or whatever, competition. We always have to compete, of course, in a good sense, nothing like a bad enemy or something, but it's competition. Enemy as such, but in quotes, enemy is not like go and hit them or something, but enemy is like competition, competitors. Seventh house, I think everyone's favorite will be partner, correct? Business partner. It can be a business partner, it can be a husband, it can be a wife. So that's the Jeeva Karaka for seventh house. Eighth house, when it comes to eighth house, your in-laws, as we know, partners, family, in-laws. The ninth house is connected with your father. That's what they say. The ninth house and 10th house, of course, there is a ambiguity there, 9th house and 10th house. But even if you say 10th house is father, then 9th house can become teacher or gurus or your persons who give you advice or counselors or even jyotishis. The person whom you consult with, the person who is your astrologer comes to the 9th house. Or maybe if someone considers 9th house as father, then father too. Or maybe 10th house can be father too. So 10th house is father. 11th house, of course, your friends, your colleagues, your collaborators. And finally comes the 12th house. Now, 12th house is, of course, your grandparents. Grandparents, grand relatives, because if you say your 9th house is father, then automatically the 12th house becomes father's mother, so grandparents. Okay, so 12th house is grandparents. So you see what
11th house is also elder siblings.
11th house also elder siblings, exactly. So the point is that each and every house in the chart is connected to some Jeeva Karaka. All the 12 houses are connected to some Jeeva Karaka. Of course, in a broader sense, I'm saying, of course, there will be many other relatives which you can connect, and all those you can make those Bhavartha Bhavam principle and all those things. But each house has got Jeeva Karakas, and also there are Ajiva Karakas. We know Ajiva Karakas are in like not living beings, but not like a human beings or not like a life, but For example, as I said, the first house is you, but the first house is also for your physical health, for your well-being, for your status and all those things. The fourth house is mother, but the fourth house is also for comfort, vehicle, property, home, land, real estate, all those things. Similarly, each and every house. So each and every house has got a Karaka, which is a life Karaka, Jeeva Karaka, which we say, and Ajiva Karaka. Ajiva means non-living being. And it is seen that no one gets everything in this life. If you get some maybe enhancement in Jeeva Karaka, you will get something less or low in Ajiva Karaka of that house. For example, if the prospects of fourth house is very good, of Ajiva Karaka, like we say home, land, property, real estate, vehicle, comfort, is good for you, that means all Ajiva Karaka has been enhanced for you, then little bit Jiva Karaka gets lower, or little bit less happiness from mother, or separation from mother, or disagreement from mother, or difference in opinion from mother, something like that can happen. So there's always this play of Jiva Karaka and Ajiva Karaka going in the scene, or going in everyone's life, in every aspect, all the 12 house aspects of life of a native. The thing is how to understand this, how to use this principle, and what we can understand, what is the importance of this, what is the lesson that we learn from this Jiva Karaka and Ajiva Karaka, and how to use it in our everyday life and lead a better life or understand our life as a whole. Maybe that's the agenda for today's session, I guess. And with that, I welcome Sandeep too, and then probably we'll point out to Sandeep, and he will little bit focus more on this topic. So yes,
right.
Sandeep.
Yeah. No.
Yes.
Yeah. Thank you, Aditya. That was a very beautiful introduction to the houses. So it was very good. Very good. You listed out all the family members connected to the houses. More importantly, you said the correct word. You listed the Jiva Karakas, or the Karakas, the significations of the houses that are living. That's a very important thing. Usually, like you also correctly said, in astrology, you can say fourth house is home, but fourth house is also mother. Sixth house is the loans and debts, but sixth house also maternal uncles. Seventh house is spouse, seventh house is also your business partnerships, and could be fame also. Eighth house is your in-laws, but eighth house also your inheritance, the unexpected lottery money and all that, eighth house. 11th house your elder sibling, 11th house also promotion at work. So you can see that. So all these houses, ninth house is fortune, ninth house also father and guru also. So you can see right now there is a direct, when you just in astrology right now, we say, okay, you are going through ninth lord kind of time period. So you could say your ninth lord could be, so father related events can happen, or guru related events can happen, or fortune related events can happen. You would just say like that. So what I was finding interestingly is that when a certain house, the Jiva Karka is enhanced, the Jiva Karka is correspondingly improved also, or there's a direct link between Jiva Karka and Ajiva Karka, as Aditya mentioned. In some cases, when the Jiva Karka is lost, then the Ajiva Karkas may be in surplus. But say you are increasing more life or Jiva Karka in one particular house, then it can be further enhanced. So more Ajiva Karka can also flow. The potential for more Ajiva Karka is already there. The Jiva Karka is there. So it's a very interesting concept, but it can go vice versa also. So for instance, so actors and actresses in general, usually they have a tough married life, because one of the things they say is their seventh house is too strong. Seventh house of fame is too strong, because with their marriage gets spoiled. In some cases, it can be that. So it is a very interesting thing. But then usually in India, you have all these family dynamics going on. Well, not in India, all over the world really. So you have a lot of family dynamics things going on usually. So it is very interesting. I started to make these observations that when, say for instance, remember, seventh house is your marriage, is your spouse and all that. But seventh house is also the fifth from the third, which is basically the first child of from your immediately younger sibling. So you can see that seventh house can also be your third younger sibling. So because the first younger sibling will be third house, second younger sibling will be the fifth house, the third younger sibling will be the seventh house. Now seventh house can also be your immediately elder sibling's third child also. So for instance, so first child of the immediate elder sibling, which is 11th house, is going to be the third house, which is fifth from the 11th house. Second child from the 11th house of elder sibling is going to be the 7th house, which is the 7th house from the 11th house, which is fifth house in the chart. The third child is going to be the 7th house of the chart because that is the 9th from the 11th house. So 7th house being the 9th from the 11th house, you can see that. So now what was interesting, I was beginning to make these observations that when in these big family kind of thing going on, in big family charts and all that, when the elder sibling was having a third child, suddenly the marriage of the particular native improved a lot. Then there were no fights happening, nothing like that. Things actually improved a lot. So when I began to make those observations, it was kind of interesting. I was like, okay, can you actually extend this logic to other houses? And then therefore you can. So it turns out then when your immediately younger sibling gets married, that is actually activating the sound from the third house, which is 9th house. So 9th house, as we discussed, it is fortune also, but 9th house is also the wife of your immediately younger sibling. Now say he gets married, then the Jeeva Karka of that particular house is enhanced. What I was observing is that around marriages, your younger sibling is getting married, your own fortune also enhanced at the same time. So it is a very interesting thing. So you can see that when the particular house life is increasing, when the Jeeva Karka is actually increasing, the potential for Ajiva Karka to increase also suddenly happening. Now this is very, very visible when children are born. So for instance, the first child will always activate the fifth house of the chart. And you will see this very commonly in marriages. When the first child is born, the father's fortune changes completely because the fifth house of Bhagya is actually active. Now when the second child is born, the 7th house is active, then more wealth and fame increases. The third child is born, 9th house becomes active. It's extremely powerful way to increase your fortune actually. And that usually you can see in some families, their fortunes are completely changed with the birth of the child. Because fifth house of intelligence is enhanced, 7th house increases fame and Kendra house and all that.
So here I have a question, Sandeep.
Right.
So you said, okay, 11th house is your elder sibling. So
right.
The fifth from the 11th house is the third house. So that is the first child of your elder sibling. The fifth house of your chart is the second child of your elder sibling. And the third child of your elder sibling will be the 7th house.
The 7th house.
Okay, fine. So let's say your elder sibling got a third child. So your 7th house is active.
Right.
And so marriages and all things fine. Now, can we say how things happen? Is it like the third child for my elder sibling, Jeeva Karaka got enhanced? Will my Jeeva Karaka will also be enhanced, or what will happen to my Ajiva Karaka? Both Jeeva and Ajiva will be enhanced, or only Jeeva will be enhanced, or only Ajiva will be enhanced? What will go down? How to understand that? And
that's a very relevant, very, very important question. Can you say when the Jeeva is increasing, can you see the Ajiva is increasing? Can you say when the Jeeva is increasing, the Ajiva is decreasing? Or can you say when the Jeeva is increasing, is there no impact? Now, first of all, I can say there is an impact. When the Jeeva is increasing, there is definitely like, an Ajiva increasing for sure. That I can say for sure. That's the observation I am making. Now, at the same time, when a Jeeva is reduced, a Jeeva can also be improved. That is also visible. So in some cases, perhaps, say it might be your spouse you might have a broken marriage, but your business can flourish. In some cases, because 7th house is actually both your Jeeva Karka and your Jeeva Karka. So then, now this can actually be used in remedies actually, So in the sense that, for instance, say you enter into a bad business, your business went bad, completely business partner cheated and whatnot. But because of that, because you are able to wash off your karma through the Jeeva Karkas of a particular house, your Jeeva Karka also got improved actually. And then your marriage could actually succeed. You could finally get married after that. That could actually happen. So in my opinion, it's like a mutually dependent relationship, but the fact is that it can be related. There's a thing going on. And what is interesting is that I was seeing these kind of things again and again. So like the moment the first child is born, the fifth house is active, the father's fortunes are completely changed and so forth. I was seeing that again. The second, usually you will see most of the marriage, they have 2 children. Then you immediately understand why. The second house is actually the 7th house of the marriage. So immediately you're like, okay, that's it. That the marriage is stable at this point. Because 7th house of marriage gets stable, actually. And then people who have planets in the 9th house, they might even go for the third child also. And then they suddenly become very strong. Now, what is interesting is that when the Jeeva Karka is enhanced, like when the Jeeva Karka of a particular house is improved, then the Ajiva Karka correspondingly improves actually. Now, say your second younger sibling got married. That is actually activating the fifth house is the second younger sibling. Seventh from that younger sibling is 11th house. So, that actually activates gains in your chart. That is actually increasing fortune in your chart. Now, say this 7th house is further strengthened because the second younger sibling is having 2 children. The second child is also being born. Then you will immediately see 11th house in your chart should be activated. So that's the key thing. So like one way or the other, you are actually seeing one way or the other, if that Jeeva Karka is coming in, the Jeeva Karka should also come in along at the same time. That's the key thing. So it's a very simple concept, but it's a very, very powerful thing. Why? Now say you are not getting promotion at work. You have second younger sibling and so forth. Someone from that is 11th house. You just need to enhance that. You just need to do that particular house planet based remedies for that particular Jeeva Karka. So for instance, say your Venus in the 11th house in your chart. So basically there are 2 ways to approach this. Venus in the 11th house is that you need to gift clothes to your spouse of your immediately elder sibling. When you gift clothes, your Venus in your 11th house is active. So the spouse of the immediately elder sibling, whenever that spouse is wearing clothes, that means your Venus is actually becoming more active. Then you could higher chance of promotions, wealth, and all that can happen just because of that. Now, say you might have Jupiter there. Jupiter there, you might have just had to give. You might have to gift a book, for instance. You might have to give perhaps some sweets, for instance. Right? Venus can be sweets also. Jupiter is laddus, right? So you have to give laddus basically for Jupiter. You just give it. Suddenly the whole thing is opened up for you. Like your promotion which has been blocked up and so forth, it can actually be improved. And then not only that, you can do it with other planets also. So Mars could be like you gift a machine, for instance. Mercury could be like some stationary, like mobile phones, a communication device. Moon can be some kind of water drink you're giving, or pearls or something like that. Sun can be gold. Moon can be silver also. Sun can be gold actually. Sun can also be something sweet like jaggery or so forth also. You also have Saturn. Now Saturn is stuff. Saturn is that you'll have to do some seva for that particular person. You have to provide some support and all that. Rahu can be, you might have to help with technology at some point with that particular person, some kind of a technology kind of thing. Ketu could be that sometimes you have to go get bus from some particular temple or support. Could be like Rahu could also be Chandan from some temple also, even that. So it could be that you just give these things and suddenly the blockages you have is enhanced actually. So that's the key thing. So it's a very simple concept, but not many people understand it, because what I realized is that when we don't appreciate the value of someone in terms of houses. So I came to see these charts again and again, in which you could see they had a planetary in Jeshta and all that. So you could see immediately the elder sibling is taking karma for the family. That is one thing. But then I started to think, what is going on here? It made so out of this idea. Out of this particular observation, this idea came for that there is an actual family karma that is shared by the entire family. So we have this individual karma. We also have a family karma. Every family has to go through their own thing. Now, within every family karma, now it's like each of one is taking a share of that karma. Now, that's a very interesting concept, because now the Jeeva Karka and the Ajiva Karka is making one sense. So it's like the entire family is having one chart at this point. Your own chart can act as the chart for the entire family. Now, how else can you actually make predictions for your elder sibling or your children or for your spouse from your own chart? So there's an actual family karma link. So that's the key thing. So for instance, now say the opposite can also happen. Now say your immediately elder sibling passes away. Now your 11th house is not having Jeeva Karka. Now it is actually going down. Now the Jeeva Karka is going down, Ajiva Karka is actually present. So you might actually you might see that it's not coming easily for you because of that. You might have to do additional work, for instance. You might have to put in more work or more things and so forth. You might have to do some real hardcore sadhana to get somewhere at least, some kind of more mantra chanting, more japa and all that kind of thing, just to further enhance your 11th house. But the moment that Jeeva Karka enters into a life, into a particular house, out of nowhere, that house is also active at the same point. And that is bringing definitely a child being born is very powerful, even in old family. Like, the entire family's fortune will be changed. So you might not be talking down with your siblings, you're not talking down to your elder sibling or younger sibling or whatnot. Doesn't matter. The moment the child is born, your houses will be activated. That's the key thing. Now you can extend this logic even to your cousins also, to your uncles and cousins also. Because your mother's younger sibling is your mama, right? Mama or mommy, right? Now say this mommy is first child. That is the mother's immediately younger sibling is 6th house. First child of the mommy is basically the 5th from the 6th house, which is 10th house of your chart. Now that first child, that first cousin of yours is actually directly improving your career one way or the other. If you do that 10th lord based planetary remedies with that particular cousin, you'll see things actually improving. You might just have to give those gifts actually. You might have to activate it further. You might have to spend some time doing that. You might have to travel with that person or whatever, right? Depending upon the planet. Mercury is travel, Moon is like emotional support, like, Sun is like being present there, things like that. You might have to do the remedies, but immediately that cousin just being there is enhancing your 10th house of career for sure. That cousin just being there is actually activating that career very strongly. And then no matter what, because the Jeeva Karakas, the Ajiva Karaka will also improve. That's the key thing. Now say the cousin is having a problem. It is equivalent to your career having a problem. And the moment when you help that cousin solve that problem, your career problem will also improve. That's the key thing. So when we look at this particular notion, so like I'm extending this idea of family karma actually at this point. So it's like the entire family is actually absorbing, sharing that karma. Usually the people connected to you by blood are actually sharing your karmic load. So that's a very direct point. So your siblings 100% doesn't matter if you are connected to by blood, your karmic load is being captured by that particular person. And then when you further enhance that particular person's karma, that will further enhance your own Ajiva Karaka karmas also. And not only that, your Jeeva Karaka karmas can also be further enhanced. Like why else would the, and this you will see many times actually. So when, for instance, you are about to have a child, then your a younger sibling also will have a child being activated at the same time. So many times you'll see cousins happening together simultaneously in many cases. You can actually make predictions like that. So in fact, there was one case in which I saw the one native was about to have the second child, and their immediately younger sibling was struggling to have a child. So I said, okay, now this second child or the first child is very likely to happen, which is the first native is likely to happen, which is the 7th house of the chart. So the 7th house is also the fifth from the 3rd house of younger sibling, which is basically the first child of your younger sibling. So that child is also very likely to happen at the same time. So very likely to happen, in fact. So so that is exactly that, and you'll see that. So sometimes you'll see this particular link. So when one Jeeva Karaka is enhancing for one person, the Jeeva Karaka is also being enhanced for the other person. So that's a very simple thing. But when the Jeeva Karaka is reduced, and that's then Ajiva Karaka is also being impacted. That's one thing. And one direct, I can definitely say there's a direct one-on-one correlation for sure. That I can definitely say without a doubt. Now, whether you can shift that to direct to indirect, and you can shift it, increase it, or reduce it, that's a different kind of, that will require additional research at least. But key thing is that I would say is you can at least start with that. So like, for instance, now say you have malefic planet in your 4th house. So that means you have a tough mother and all that, childhood was tough and all that, right? Or say your mother was tough. Now, just by the fact that your mother is alive, she's actually absorbing that 4th house kind of karma. Now, say your mother is no longer present, then that all of that 4th house karma is coming your way. It's as simple as that. The same logic can be extended to other houses also. You might have a challenging elder sibling, for instance, 11th house. 11th house having a malefic, challenging elder sibling, headstrong elder sibling, not listening to you, whatnot. But just because that elder sibling being alive, that elder sibling is actually absorbing the karmas, all that malefic karmas for you. And then now say the elder sibling is no more there, all that karma is going to come your way. So literally your elder sibling going through those challenges is exactly your own karma playing out in a different way. Astrology is that, in my view, that's the it's a very simple thing, but a very different way of looking at things. Because when you do that, then suddenly you can see that the challenges your family members are going through are basically reflections of your own karma, and they are linked also. One way or the other, you'll actually see that. And when you actually help out your family members, people connect to you by blood with your own karma, you'll see natural improvements in your own karmas in a very powerful way. So it's something very interesting, and you can see the impact. Impact, I can say for sure it works. That's a huge, huge thing. And usually you see the opposite also. So like, for instance, in some cases, like I said, you might have a challenge with one observation I made was that of how the business of one person actually suffered, but the marriage actually improved significantly. That in that way they actually purified their Jeeva karma through their Ajiva karma. They just ruined their business. So in fact, I tell this advice: okay, you want to get married, if you're willing to sacrifice to businesses, then that's very good remedy for you. You can actually get married, but you lose a lot of money for it. But that's one thing. So that's a different thing. So, but at least it can work. That's one way to do that also. What is interesting is that then you can, by identifying this particular Ajiva Karka and Jiva Karka component, you can get very specific remedies actually. So say you might have litigations going on, 6,000 kind of problems. Then you have mamas, right? So good chance you already have challenges with your mamas. That's usually the case. With good chance you're not talking to your mother's side or whatnot, that kind of drama is happening. But what happens if you start to improve that Jiva Karka at that point? You start to talk with them, you figure it out, you forgive them, forget them, whatnot, right? That kind of thing. You become a bigger person. At that point, your 6,000 kind of karmas will also immediately improve. That's the direct thing. So it's a very simple concept, and you can actually see that. It's a very simple extension actually of astrological logic. So it's a very simple thing. And then but the remedies and effects are very powerful. Like to the point, so I had a client, someone was actually coming to me and asking me, will my marriage with my husband last? And I said, okay, how many siblings do you have? And I started doing the calculation. And then, okay, I have one elder sibling. She's pregnant with the third child. So the same logic. So the 7,000 we're getting. And I say, okay, you're stuck with your husband for a long time. As long as the child is alive, your marriage will be safe. That kind of thing. So that kind of thing you can actually see. It's a very interesting way also. One way or the other, I've seen this Jiva Karka is actually enhanced. And you see this actually. When your siblings are having children, immediately out of nowhere, your fortunes are also improved. You will actually see that. And you can do literally BCP with that actually. So for instance, the moment you have a first child, your fifth house is activated. The child is alive, the Jiva Karka is there, you can actually, your fifth house is actually activated. So 1 year, you can actually see fifth house kind of themes will play out as long as the child is there in your life. The second year of the child's birth, the child is going through the second year. The child is 1 year old, second year is running. The second house from the fifth house, which is sixth house, is being activated. So sixth house also in your chart is being activated because of that. And then the third year from the child, now usually you'll see the siblings are born usually in the third year when the child is 3 years old. So you can see that. So because 2 to 3 years old, when the first child is 2 to 3 years old, that's when the younger sibling usually comes. Usually that's the observation you will see. And you can see that because that by that time, the child is going through third year. That means the third house from the fifth house, which is seventh house of the second child, is also being activated. So you can see that actually. You can see that. And now seventh house is activated in two different ways now at this point. First of all, you have a wife, your wife or husband, your seventh house is activated. The child is alive and third year of the child is running, seventh house activated. Now when the second child is also born, at that point, then the new Jiva Karka and seventh house being activated. Now say the second child is born, now you can start a new BCP at that point. So it's a new cycle being activated at that point. So first year of the second child is seventh house of your chart. The second year of the second child is eighth house of the chart. Now usually you'll see that also. And then you can count it also. You can literally see that. Now as long as the child is present in your life, you can literally see that particular house is being activated, and you can literally do BCP with your own chart because of the child's influence action. So it's a very interesting thing. So for instance, when I had a friend who had an exalted planet, exalted Venus in Pisces in 9th house, so the Cancer resonant Venus in Pisces. So she started a business. So Cancer resonant first house is Scorpio. So first child was challenging. Very challenges, problems with husband and all that. Of course, Mars, Scorpio and all that was activated. In her 7th house, she actually had Saturn and Rahu in a chart. So that's like, okay, Saturn is in Capricorn sign with Rahu, Digbal and all that. She started an online business that became, she started making money in a big way. Then she wanted to have a third child at this point, and the third child was having. Third child, the business exploded like anything. Huge thing because the exalted Venus in the 9th house. Very simple. The moment she was pregnant with the child, the business exploded. You can see that. So now I'm like, it's a very powerful remedy, actually. Very, very powerful remedy. You don't, we underestimate the blessings which children bring forth into our life in many powerful ways. Now, like I said, we underestimate the blessings of our relatives in our own life. And we underestimate the blessings of our own direct family members in terms of our own karma. And that's another thing. Of course, we all have our family karma and so forth, but there is also corresponding Ajiva Karaka karma linked with that particular thing also. Now, the other observation which I made is very interesting, actually. So when say someone is born in the family, usually they say you can't go to a temple for 2 weeks time period. So same thing also they say when someone has died in the family, then you don't go to a temple for 2 weeks kind of time period. That's one of the things they say. So it is very interesting. So then I realized, okay, what's going on here also? So you have this thing going on already. So you have the house thing, which I described and all that. But then I realized when someone is born, a new set of generation is actually coming forth also. From a planetary perspective, your Rahu is also getting activated because that new sets of person, new sets of genes, new sets of energies are coming forth. So when someone is born, the Rahu is too strong. And that's why people say don't go to temples during that time period. So temples are like they're controlling Rahu in very powerful ways through their techniques and all that. The same logic is, now say someone is dead at the same time. Your grandfather has died. Immediately your Rahu is further activated at that point because of death also happened. Now the key thing is that you see with each birth though, there is a positive spiral that is happening. The generation is moving forward. So usually when the child is born, the blessings come forth. You know, for instance, when the death has happened, sometimes Rahu is the negative spiral is going down. So the Rahu, the negative kind of Rahu is being activated at that point. And you can
Or
still
you can
do
say
basically
Ketu
from
got
that.
activated. When
That
someone
is also
died,
right.
maybe Ketu separation happened.
That's right. Ketu can also be activated. That is correct. Ketu can get activated. Now, what is interesting, in this Rahu Ketu activation, one thing I observed is that anytime, say the grandfather dies, usually the 7th month from that particular point, the grandmother will usually pass away. Usually that's the key thing. Why? Because 7th house from Rahu or 7th house from Ketu is basically Rahu. So you have this Rahu Ketu literally 7 houses away from each other. You can do BCP from in terms of months also. You can actually do count from the months also. So like the moment when your grandfather passed away, Rahu is active, Ketu is active. First 7th month from Ketu is going to activate the 7th house from Ketu, which is where Rahu is placed in. So that's also going to give results. So you immediately see the kind of challenges there. One way or the other, you can do that kind of timing also. The same logic can be extended to both of a child also. The moment a child is being born, you could say Rahu is active. 7th month from that, Ketu will be active also at the same time. Usually you can see that, or usually one way or the other. The first month is always challenging. There's a Rahu, new child, and all that. The 7th month from that, then there is this natural postpartum depression kind of thing that usually happens. That kind of thing you can see. So you can see that particular effect also. So these were some interesting ideas. So like I said, one thought I had was this particular basis of remedies actually. How can you connect certain houses with certain planets and remedies? So for instance, if you have sun there, you might have to be physically present with that particular person. You might have to help with some government kind of Karaka thing for that particular Jeeva Karaka. You might have to increase the confidence of that particular relative, for instance, with sun. You might actually help in improving the give something sun-like taste, improve the ego, boost their self-esteem, whatnot. That kind of sun-based remedies. That is one thing I think will actually improve that particular Karaka in a lot. And you'll see that you'll see that person is already looking for that, in your chart, in your life, that person already looking for that. Say, for instance, moon is involved, in my opinion, you could actually enhance it by emotional support. You can enhance it by supportive kind of roles. Moon can also be the mother of that particular spouse, for instance. All these astrological kind of thing you can do with the houses also. So say moon, you want to further enhance moon, usually they say help with their motherhood kind of thing also. Help a mother control that particular family, or help a female control that family also. That kind of thing also you can say. Moon can also be like silver also. Now you can gift this particular person silver. Suddenly you might see, things actually improving for your life. You can actually see that. And same thing also you can. So with Mars though, Mars is like your siblings, right? Mars is blood support. Now Mars you might have to do physical activities for that particular person. Now see, here's the other way you can do the remedies also. If you sponsor a physical trainer for this particular person, Mars connected houses. They will, when the moment they start doing workout, they start doing yoga and all that, you will see your own things actually getting sorted out. You will actually see that happening. They just start doing it. You can literally count from that. You can see that how it will play out, when it will happen and all that. That is one thing. So now say Mercury is active, you'll have to travel with them. You'll have to, give them books. So you might have to, you might have to buy them a mobile phone or something like that. You have to give them a device or something like that. That kind of thing. Mercury, I would also say some kind of, you might have to text them more often. That kind of thing. You might have to communicate with them more often. That kind of thing could easily be the case. With Jupiter, I would usually say you'll have to go to some guru with them or some spiritual pilgrimages, or usually you'll have to give them some Jupiter in yellow clothes or so forth. Now, all these things which I said, all the color of the planets can be extended with the clothes also. You can give. Now, that's a generic remedy. Like you have a white color cloth which you can give, which is great for moon and all that. So the color of the planets can be extended or connected with the particular houses also. So perhaps you have, let's say, Venus in fifth house. So your spouse of your elder sibling. So you might have to give some white silk clothes to that particular spouse. So say you have a younger sibling. Now here's the thing: your younger sibling is actually third house in your chart, but the seventh house from the younger sibling itself is third house. So the easiest remedy for younger sibling is basically like, do the third house kind of planets for that particular younger sibling. Whatever the third lord is, you can just do that immediately. With your elder sibling though, you'll have to do the 11th lord kind of planet. Now, could be like you might have Saturn there. Now, Saturn there could mean that you might already have a tough thing already going on there. But if you become patient with that particular person, could be that you wait it out or you help them out through with your time and so forth. You literally feel unappreciated helping them out. Then you will see other aspects of your things actually get better also. Now, so it's a very interesting thing. So this is very fascinating in the sense that I saw that how marriages of your relatives can change your life. How birth of your cousins can actually, or cousins, or even their children, even when they are also born, that's also improving further. And you can also see how when marriages, when death also happens in the family, how that is also changing things also. So this particular simple way of looking at the houses, I've seen it can give very interesting results actually. So in fact, your first child might be going through the 9th year of his life, of his or her life. So that means 9th house from the 5th house being activated. That means your lagna is being activated. So that means something important for your career could actually be activated at that point. So when you have children, you can actually time things like that also. So it's a very simple thing, but you can use that and you can make predictions like that also. So for instance, the 6th year of your first child, the 10th house of your chart will be activated. Because that's the 6th house, 6th house from the 5th house is 10th house of your chart. So that time period, some kind of career thing can actually happen because of your child. Now, all this is happening because your child is present. The child's energy, the child's blessing is coming into your life. That particular Jeeva Karakas is actually coming into your life and actually giving you the blessings of sorts, that kind of thing. So that is one way of looking at it, So the same logic you can extend to any other thing also. Now your in-laws actually, your in-laws are connected to you through your spouse actually. But even them going through a thing you can see in your own chart. The spouse's mother is the 10th house of your chart. Your spouse's mother having problems will directly influence your 10th house of career, no matter what. Your spouse's mother is having a hip problem, which is 7th house from the 10th house, which is going into your 4th house. That is actually affecting your own home and family actually. You can actually see that. Your spouse's mother going through any problems, you can see that also linked to you in your chart also. So that is the other way of extending it. But it's much more stronger. I've seen that at least for now, people connected to you by blood, you can immediately see this particular aspect very quickly. It's like immediate. So the child happens, promotion also happens. Your cousin child happens, wealth also comes your way, that kind of thing. So now the opposite can also happen. In some cases, say you have Saturn in 5th house. So these natives are naturally hesitant towards children. They don't want children and all that. And sometimes, the moment they have a child, they might have to go through some career shift or something, depending upon the planet also. But that actually opens up the opportunity. It will be Saturn is a planet that will give you returns in the long term. So the challenges you went through when the child was born is actually going to give you bigger time returns in the long term, long big picture kind of thing actually. So you might go through a tough challenge, but it will give you a bigger blessing after that also. That's the thing. But these are some thoughts I had. So, but I thought it was interesting, this particular linkage of Jeeva Karka and Ajiva Karka, which you could see, and how it could how you could actually connect to that. Yeah, go ahead, Aditya.
Yeah, it was interesting to see what you said was how the life members or maybe your family members take the karma
Yeah,
of
yeah,
what's happening. So that's what
yeah,
we don't realize the importance of that. For example,
yeah,
if something related to 10th house is happening, maybe my father is taking that karma or something like
yes,
that.
yeah,
And when he is not alive, probably that karma comes and hit me hard.
yes,
So like that, there are so many buffer zones for us.
yes, yes,
Our family members are keeping or maybe protecting us, but
yeah,
which we don't realize. So that was one thing which I really appreciate about the importance of family members and or how they take and uh, and overall a picture of like it's like a web of each one is supporting the other one. For example, if you are
yeah,
there in a family, you take maybe other family members karmas and other family member karmas take your karmas, and it's like
yeah,
the whole web is knitted in that somehow. The
yeah,
bigger question which I feel is how do we come into that, and how a soul is selected for a given family, that they have
right,
to why did you select a particular set of parents, a particular set of siblings, particular set of relatives to be born, how that karma plays, and how that each thing is, each individual soul comes into that and play that karma, which is something why we were not born. Everyone would like to be born in a family of Kardashians or maybe or something like Ambani's family or something like that.
right,
But it doesn't happen in that way, and so that shows me whatever you can say, Godhead or the supreme power, or how it controls and what intelligence is governing that and how it happens. So this is something which I feel more interested these days about understanding. Of course, they say astrology is one step to understand the higher thing, but this is what I think, this is the process to understand, and then to understand how this works is the next level. And is that called spirituality? I don't know. I don't know.
No, that's a very, very good point, actually. So, like, there are no accidents, so there are no accidents in life. Everything is happening for a real reason, also. So, the key thing is that usually, when of course, your family you're born into also is a very karmic thing. So, usually, that's a very direct thing for sure. Like you also said, the family members do take karmas for us for sure. Initially, your father, mother takes a lot of karmas. And then your elder siblings take very specific set of karmas. Your younger sibling will take very specific set of
Yeah.
karmas and so forth.
I will like. I just want to share. Actually, I was calling one of my friend, and he's having a young son actually, and I was saying, "Hey, what are you doing?" And he was like, "I'm wiping my son's ass," young kid and all. So I said, "Yeah, his first son's ass. Fifth house is the first son. His ass will be what? Eighth house. Eighth
Yeah,
house
his
from the fifth."
expenses are improving actually.
Yeah,
His
so
expenses
basically
are
I said,
improving because of that.
actually, when you wipe your first son's ass or first daughter's ass, you're basically improving your 12th house, your moksha house. Wiping your
Right,
first kid's ass
right,
is the path to go to moksha, probably.
right. So when you do that, when you take care of a child, it's a huge karmic thing, for
Yeah.
sure. When you take care of a child, karmas are improved in many powerful ways. One is actually the Rahu Ketu karmas improved, and next
Yes.
generation is born and so forth and all that.
Yeah.
Usually, it's very interesting thing. Many people I've seen. So, like usually when you have elder grandparents and so forth, when you have grandparents, usually they say like, okay, your grandfather or parents are actually taking away a huge Rahu kind of karma. Actually. And the moment they are no longer there, immediately you can see that Rahu getting active. The Rahu, the wealth you had is suddenly going down. You just see that. The same thing also, like when the new generations come, then the Rahu is also getting stronger. That's the thing. So many times you see families with multiple generations, 3 generations, 4 generations. Their Rahu, their wealth kind of thing is very, very strong. Their Rahu is very, very strong actually. You see that actually. In some cases, when even if the next generation are not there, In some cases, they might actually do spiritual activities also. So their Rahu could be actually not be manifesting as a child, but it could be manifesting as a spiritual thing also. They might be doing sadhana, some deeper spiritual practice. Rahu and Ketu is also spiritual practice also at the same time, occulting and all that. So you can see that also. So it is very, very, what you said is very true. That's the same logic, right? Your marriage is improved with your sixth house. The sixth house, the loss of marriage, your spouse's feet. This is the starting point of improving a marriage, right? So your sixth house is the house of troubles also. Taking the blessing of spouse's feet, massaging your spouse's feet, very direct remedy for improving a marriage. Venus is getting debilitated in the natural sixth house of the zodiac also.
Correct.
Now what happens? So used to be you can understand your rituals also. Like for instance, why is the mother-in-law giving the spouse, your spouse, a gift for the face and all that? So moon is getting debilitated in Scorpio. So you can see mother-in-law giving a gift is enhancing that marriage kind of thing, because the marka, the Jeeva Karaka is further enhanced through the Jeeva Karaka kind of thing, or silver and whatnot, so the jewelry and all that, So yeah, it's what you said is also very important. Like every family, everyone who go through their own karma is actually absorbing a lot of our own karma also in that way. And every family has their own karma also. That is their own thing. So it's very interesting. So karma it's an understood fact that you have this individual karma. You have every family has their karma. Every community or a caste has their own karma. Every country has their own karma. And even every loka has their own karma also. That is an implied understood. Everyone takes it for granted. But how can you actually see that astrologically, right? Can you see that? Can you actually see your family's karma through your chart? You can actually see that. Can you actually extend your chart to see your country of your countries or your communities karma? You can see that through Rahu and Ketu. You can actually see that. So what your Rahu is doing, that's what the genes you carry, that's pointing to the community kind of karma and all that also. That is one way you can see actually, can you extend that further to the country of karma kind of thing in your chart? So you probably have to look at the bigger planets like sun or moon or something like that, to identify your homeland and so forth. So is it an accident that you're actually born into one particular land? Or fourth house kind of thing is looking at the fourth house, you can identify what is your karma with your homeland actually. You can see all that also. So that's a way also you can actually look at that also. But in my opinion, the family karma is the immediately closer karma. That's a more dynamic karma. And so for the other karmas are more, it takes more time for it to come your way, but it will be there. It's like a background kind of thing. But your family karma is a much more direct karma, which is very direct. But yeah, this is what I have. Any question, any thoughts? Any other questions now, Jean? Anything like that?
For the remedies you were mentioning, is it the house lord of the remedy, or if there is a planet in the house?
I will do both actually. So I would recommend both. So say for instance, you have Venus in the so the remedies which I mentioned, so say Sun, Moon, Mars and all that. If the planet is located in that house, you'll have to enhance that particular planet in that particular house. Now you can further enhance that particular house to the house lord also. Now, Aditya, anything else on your remedies you would like to add, like with the planetary remedies?
There are two things. Probably, if you want to improve anyone's house, there first of all there may be a chance that there can be a planet there, or may not be a planet there. For example, if you want to improve your 11th house, then fine, there can be a planet there. And as you said, combining with the Bhavarth Bhavam principles and relations and all those things that can be done. But if there's no planet, then there will be always be the lord of that house. Okay, the lord of that house, and if there's a planet there, then again the lord of that house plus the planet posited there. Both things has to be taken into consideration then. So not everyone will have a planet posited, but if someone has that, then you have to do accordingly with that too.
Yeah, you can also do remedies for the nakshatras falling in that house. Even that also works. Even if a nakshatra is falling in one particular house, doing remedies for that also actually improves actually. That's a simple thing. But yeah, if you have a planet, you can do the planetary remedies. But key thing is that you have to connect that particular planet with the Jeeva Karaka of that particular house. That's the key thing. You can connect that planetary remedy with the Jeeva Karaka of that particular house lord also. So that also help you out. So the Jeeva Karaka of that particular house needs to be connected with that particular planet. And you'll be amazed at that. So the moment you gift like a silver thing to your spouse's younger sibling, your bhagya is actually improving, in a big way. You can actually see that. So for instance, spouse's Venus role Libra in the natural zodiac, which is the 7th house of the natural zodiac. This younger sibling is actually of your spouse is actually Sagittarius sign, ruled by Jupiter. So anytime you give advice to your spouse's younger sibling, that actually improves a lot of things. And not only that, when you do Jupiterian things with that spouse's younger sibling, which is like a Sagittarius and all that, which is like pilgrimages, books, helping out with children, that actually improves a lot of other things also in general. It's a very simple principle. So you can see that. But remedies, you can create many, but the logic is this. You have to do a planetary based remedy to that particular Jeeva Karaka of that particular house also. Now, if you don't have a planet there, you can do the house lord. You can also do the nakshatra. You can also do the nakshatra lord of the cusp of that particular house also. So like 5th house cusp is going into one particular nakshatra, and that is your child. So 11, you can identify the nakshatra lord of that particular cusp also. That will also help you with remedies. Now, in general, I would say with the remedies, key thing is that you can try with remedies also can be like Jeeva Karaka remedies and Ajiva Karaka remedies also. You can spend time with that particular person, or you can gift this particular thing with that particular person and so forth also. You can also do remedies with, you can gift a plant, for instance, to this cousin of yours. Plant is actually enhancing for some more life is going on to the, in some cases you might have to give an Ajiva Karaka thing like a book or something like that. Ajiva Karaka thing like book or something. Or you could even give like perfumes, for instance, right? You can give a statue, for instance. For sun, could be like you're having now in general, Rahu Ketu kind of remedies users have to watch out for. That's the only caveat I would say. So sometimes you'll see, or the other person might begin to absorb the karmas too strongly when you give the Rahu Ketu thing. That's the thing I'll see, and then they're like, okay, their lifestyle will suffer because you gave the gift or whatnot, right? That kind of thing. So you can actually see that. In some cases, you get a gift from someone, some relative of yours, you get some Rahu Ketu gift, and then you're like, after that, your life has been going down. So that kind of thing. So you have to watch out for that. But I won't say you have to be careful like that, but at least you can enhance it in a positive way. That I can really say. But it's a shared karmic thing anyway. One way or the other, it's a shared family karma going on. So it's a very interesting thing. So when you see this particular charts in which the elder sibling is actually taking huge karma for the family, then the younger sibling having an easy life. But the moment the elder siblings, no matter what, all elder siblings have to take karma of any particular family. That is a kind of guaranteed thing because it's Saturn is the natural 11th lord of the natural zodiac. They will have to take the karma. In fact, you see that also with Jeshta Nakshatra also. The existence of Jeshta Nakshatra itself is pointing to this elder sibling will take an intense kind of karma actually. So it used to be like that. So it used to be that a lot of occult secrets were directly passed on to the elder siblings actually. So it used to be like that actually. But then then it eventually changed and so forth and all that. Key simple thing I can say is that maybe some final tip for the viewers kind of thing is like if you make any observation, you can always add this on the comments, like whatever we should discuss so far. Any observation you have, you can add that in the comments. That'll be great. Both of a particular child increase particular activate that particular house, that particular corresponding house lord got activated. Correspondingly, you got the results of that particular house lord thing. So it's pointing to a very interesting way of looking at astrology. So suddenly the family karma aspect is becoming more dynamic. Now you can actually look at it. You can actually appreciate your family members for the planetary karma they are representing in your own chart also. The other thing also I can just say. But yeah, so that's what I have. Anything else? Any other questions?
I guess supporting everyone in your life, your friends, your family, friends, everyone, taking it as a blessing, being there for them. Yeah. Eventually, it's supporting yourself, right?
Yes, exactly right. Yeah, that's exactly right. That's a huge thing actually. So because that's a very important point also, because your friends is actually 11th house. Yeah. Your friends is 11th house. Your friends is also 3rd house also. So you can see that actually improves your 11th house and 3rd house one way or the other. It's a very direct thing actually. So you can see that. In fact, you can make prediction based on that also. It's no accident that you're actually talking to one particular friend and so forth also. And that's no accident. So you'll see that. Many times we have most of the friends could have been family members in our past lives actually. So that's also the other thing. So you might see that kind of thing happening. So of course our lives are in multiple lifetimes. So it's always getting interchanged. So you never know on that point. That's the thing going on also. For sure, no doubt. So helping out everyone around you will definitely, you're improving your karma for sure with that. No doubt about that.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Aditya,
Sure.
did you?
Yeah, no, good. I think, yeah, I don't have any questions, and I guess it was a good discussion, I guess.
Yeah, it was a good discussion. Yeah, it was a great discussion actually. Yeah.
Yeah.
So it was good.
So
Yeah.
respect your family members, I guess, respect your family
Yeah.
members and everyone.
Yeah, that's right.
Not only family
Yeah.
members, to everyone, in fact.
Yeah. Be there for
Yeah.
everyone and be supportive, right?
Yes.
Yeah. The person being alive, just being there, present, physically alive itself is absorbing a lot of your karma. So that I can definitely say. So then, not many people understand that simple aspect.
Yeah.
That's the takeaway also. Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Aditya.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thanks,
Thank you.
Navneet.
Sure. Yeah. Thank you. Yeah. Thank you.